Hello, good morning, my dear students. So, let us today continue with our revision of chapter 1, the Earth and the Solar System. In the last video, we have discussed about the solar system. In solar system, we have discussed about the sun, we have discussed about the 8 planets present in the solar system. Now, in the solar system, there are some more celestial or heavenly bodies present, like the satellite, the moon, and the asteroids, the comets, the meteors. These are also present inside the solar system. They are also part of the solar system. So today we will be studying about these heavenly bodies in detail. First, I have already given you the main characteristics of each and every planet. All the 8 planets characteristics I have given to you in the last video. I have told you that these characteristics can be asked through objective type questions. Okay, so hope you have prepared that in that way. Now today let us discuss the satellite. The word satellite means an attendant or a companion. Until 1610, Moon was the only known satellite that was present. But today, when we talk about satellites, there are about 100 more known satellites in the solar system. Besides Mercury and Venus, they are the only two planets which do not have any satellites. Other planets like Earth, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, these all planets have Mars, they have satellites. Okay, we have already discussed that Jupiter and Saturn have 53 satellites, Uranus have 27 satellites, Earth has one satellite present. So every other planet has a satellite other than Mercury and Venus. A satellite, which is an object which orbits or revolve around different objects. So satellites, they move around the planet. Okay, they revolve around the planet. Like planets revolve around the sun, satellites revolve around the planet from west to east. They also do not have their own heat and light. They reflect the light of the sun only. Like planets also do not have their own heat and light, satellites also do not have their own heat and light. They also reflect the light of the sun. Then satellites are of two kinds, natural or man-made satellites. Moon is a natural satellite that orbits around the earth, but some orbits other planets also. Okay, now, what are the uses of these satellites? Satellites are used for many functions: for communication, for finding out military information, for telling weather forecast, for to detect forest fire, for land survey, photography of earth features, astronomical observations, and many other features. Satellites are used for many features, and these are artificial satellites. Study about Earth satellite, that is the moon, which is a natural satellite. Moon is the heavenly body which is closest to the earth. The average distance from the earth is about 3,84,400 kilometer, and its diameter is 3,480 kilometer. Moon also do not have its own heat and light, so if it reflects the light of the sun, and that reflected light reaches the earth's surface in about 1.3 seconds. So no life can exist on the moon due to the absence of moisture and atmosphere. Since there is no layer of blanket present, that is called atmosphere, present on moon, so that is why moon cannot sustain any form of life. And there is no sound waves also, so no sound can be carried, and no hearing, no listening or hearing can be done. So though there is no air also, there is no air present on the moon. So days on the moon are very hot, almost 120 degrees Celsius, and nights are very cold, almost minus 120 degrees Celsius. So the temperature, there is a variable difference, a lot of difference between the temperature of day and night. And there are two American astronauts, Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin. They landed on the moon on 21 July 1969. They were the first two astronauts to land on the moon and discovered about the surface of the moon. They were the first one who took the images of the surface of the moon. Now the time taken by the moon to complete one rotation and one revolution is the same. Thus we always see the same face of the moon. We know that moon reflects the light of the sun. Thus the visible shape of the moon changes every night. When you see a completely circular shape of the moon, this face of the moon is called full moon. The different shapes of the moon are called phases of the moon. The revolution of the moon makes the moon appears as it is changing the shape in the sky. From the earth we see the moon grow from a thin crescent to full disk and then shrink back to thin crescent again before vanishing for few days. In its journey from new moon to full moon, the visible portion of the moon increases and the process is called moon is said to be wax. In its journey from full moon to new moon again, the visible portion of the moon keeps on decreasing and the moon is said to be waning. This process of waxing new moon to full moon, that is called waxing process, and from full moon to new moon again, this is called waning process. So these two processes, waxing and waning, are known as the phases of the moon. As the earth keeps on rotating, the angle of our view of the moon from the earth keeps on changing. So sometimes we see moon half dark, sometimes we see moon half bright. So on a new moon day, dark hemisphere faces towards the earth, so we do not see any moon in the sky. Okay, so that is called a new moon when the dark hemisphere is facing towards the earth, whereas on a full moon day we see a bright hemisphere is facing towards the earth, so we can see a full circular moon on that day. So new moon day to full moon day is called waxing process, and from full moon day to new moon day again, that is called waning process. Now let us study about other heavenly body, that is the asteroids. Asteroids are, according to NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, asteroids are small rocky objects which, as well as the planet, orbits around the sun, mean they rotate around it. They are a lot smaller than the planets present in the solar system. There are thousands of asteroids. Most of them are present between Mars and Jupiter. That belt is known as asteroid belt. So we have studied that asteroid belt is present between Mars and the Jupiter. So that asteroid belt, what does that do? That asteroid belt separates inner planets from the outer planets. So in that belt only most of the asteroids are present. Okay, most of the asteroids of whole solar system are present in that belt only, asteroid belt present between Mars and Jupiter. So there are very wide, so that belt is very wide, very far away from the sun, almost 200 kilometers away from the sun. It is believed that asteroids are broken pieces of some planets which probably exploded soon after its birth. So those broken pieces of the planet which did not exist, they broke at the time of their birth only. These broken pieces are then get together and form a asteroid. So they are broken pieces of the small planets. Now as we can see that asteroids are irregular in shape. They are not at all identical. They do not look like each other. They are different from each other. They are basically no two identical asteroids can be found in the solar system. So the main problem with asteroid is that some of them are potentially very dangerous because they can come out of their orbit and sometimes they can even hit against the earth, which they can explode the earth through that. So sometimes they can be dangerous. Now let us discuss about the other heavenly body, that is the meteor. Every night we can see some bright streak of light present in the sky. These are called meteors only. They are also called shooting stars or falling stars, tara. The meteors are very small pieces of rock which are revolving around the sun. When meteors' presence can only be felt when they enter into the earth atmosphere. Most of them burn up and become gases, but some of them are so big that they do not burn completely, so they collide with the earth's surface and then they become a meteor. So that rocky piece that is present in the solar system, that is called a meteoroid, and when that meteoroid enters into the earth atmosphere, it is called meteor, and when that meteor collides with the earth surface, that become meteoroid. So there are three terms used here: meteoroid, meteor and meteorite. Okay, so meteoroid is a solid rocky object present in the solar system, in the space. Then when that meteoroid enters into the earth atmosphere, it become meteor, and when that meteor collide with the earth's surface, it become meteorite. Okay, so I hope this distinction is clear. Meteoroid, meteor, meteorite. Meteorite is present in space, meteor when it enters earth atmosphere, meteorite when it collides with the earth surface. And there is a very well known site that is present in USA, in Arizona, that is called meteor crater. That is a very well known site where a meteor crashed and it collided with the earth's surface and it make a hole. That site is a very popular site for experiments, for the astronomical discoveries have been done there. So that is a very well known site present in USA, in Arizona. Now comes the comets. Comets are one of the most rare objects present in the solar system, often known as the dirt ball in the solar system. Why it is known as dirt ball? Because they are made up of dust and ice which wrap around the small rocky core. There are 200 crore comets which orbit around the sun. Comets are huge lumps of snow and rocky dust. Okay, that is why they are known as dirt ball also. Comets do not have their own heat and light. They reflect the light of the sun only, like planets, like satellites, like asteroids, like meteors, like comets. They also do not have their any heat and light, and they reflect the light of the sun only. When comet reach near the sun, they start glowing and develop a long tail. Okay, so it becomes a fireball. When it reaches near the sun, due to the sun heat, it changes into a fireball and it starts burning. So when the comet travel towards the sun, the radiation and heat cause solar winds which often blow the gas and dust of the comet, and it appears as if the tail is behind the comet. Okay, that long fire burning comet, it looks as if a tail is there. At the end of the comet, it appears like a long and a glowing tail. The most famous comet is Halley's comet that was last seen in 1986. It will again now will be appearing in 2062. It can be seen after 76 years. Now let us study the difference between the comets, asteroid, meteorite, meteors and meteorite. So they all are similar, mostly similar, but they all can be sometimes very dangerous for the earth or for other planets. So comet is basically made up of ice and dust which orbits around the sun. Asteroids, most asteroids are made up of rocky material, and they are found mostly between the asteroid belt present between Mars and Jupiter. Meteoroids are huge pieces. They are smaller than asteroids, but they are bigger than comets, and they are found on the which revolve around the solar system also. Meteoroid, they are smally rocky material like asteroid only, but smaller in size from the asteroid. And meteors, what are meteors? When meteorite fall towards the earth, when it enters the earth atmosphere, they become meteors, and these meteor when collide with the earth's surface, it becomes meteorite. So comet is made up of ice and dust. Asteroid is a very huge piece of rocky object present in the solar system which is mostly found in the asteroid belt. Meteorite is smaller rocky objects. It is only made up of rock and dusty material. So these all are dust balls basically. These all are formed from the dust of present in the space. Okay, when this meteoroid enters the earth atmosphere, it becomes meteor. When this meteor collide with the earth atmosphere surface, it becomes meteorite. Hope all your queries regarding these all heavenly bodies are solved now. If you have any, please write to me in the comment section. I will be answering to all your queries and problems, and please do all your previous assignments and work that I've given to you. Thank you for watching.